it is my pleasure to introduce our 2013 valedictorian, Miss Christina Tong.
Good evening, members of the school board, deacon board, administration, faculty, parents, friends, and fellow students. Before I begin, I'd like to thank God for his many blessings. Thank you also to my parents, teachers, mentors, and many friends for inspiring me and always being there for me. So about a month ago, when I was told I was supposed to talk about the future, I started getting really nervous. I considered asking questions like, how do we fulfill our potential? Or how can I succeed in college without really trying? And giving token answers. But in the end, all of these questions are inherently self-centered thoughts, concerned with the me coming out on top. And the truth is that we all do enough self-centered thinking that a generic speech on being a better you would soon have been forgotten. But luckily, for my speech writing efforts, the internet is home to many peculiar things. One of them is the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, which is basically where this writer makes up her own words and definitions. Now, the dictionary's most popular entry is the word Sonder, fictitious, of course. Now, the definition of Sonder is a run-on sentence, possibly, sorry English teachers, is rather long. But I do think that this word embodies a concept that we don't really consider on a day-to-day basis. It's also a concept that, if incorporated into our lives, has the potential to change our attitudes. And the definition goes like this: Sonder, noun, the realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own, populated with their own ambitions, friends, routines, worries, and inherited craziness. An epic story that continues invisibly around you like an anthill sprawling deep underground, with elaborate passageways to thousands of other lives that you'll never even know existed, in which you might appear only once, as an extra sipping coffee in the background, as a blur of traffic passing on the highway, as a lighted window at dusk. In essence, this definition suggests that we aren't simply the stars of our own life movies, but that we are mere supporting characters, extras, or even villains in thousands of others. The concept that everything we might consider the center of our worlds is really just the peripheral of somebody else's is a little scary, a little sobering, but a lot of reality. The idea isn't that we are insignificant, for we are made significant by the Creator's touch. Rather, it's the possibility that we might expand the scope of our tunnel vision considerations of the world. The Valley Christian bubble is popped when we leave this stage, so at least there's a bit of forced perspective. As we leave our sheltered high school and enter colleges, we will meet thousands of strangers. Perhaps several hundred of these will ascend to the level of Facebook friendship. People that we know well enough to recognize by name or attractively edited profile picture. Now that's a minimum of hundreds of people, and there are certainly more, whose life movies we play a part in, who we get close enough to influence. And the real question is what kind of influence we might have. And the answer to that question is perhaps best captured by the divinely inspired words of Philippians 2. In humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but to the interests of others. Now, this world might be temporary, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to make this world a little better, one life story at a time. So, that kind soul who helps you when you drop all your books on the first day of class, the authority figure that you actively run away from, the wary Chipotle worker who still manages to smile at you, and every student that you have ever laughed at or with or looked up to. Each one is open to your influence. And each one is a life that is as complex, as valuable, and as vulnerable as yours. We sometimes forget how vulnerable we are to forces beyond our control. We sometimes forget that to those around us, we are the forces beyond their control. So live as if you had immeasurable impact, because the smallest of our choices can have the biggest of impacts on somebody else's life trajectory. Even an extra can complete or ruin the most important of scenes. So in college and in life, imagine that faces are just exterior doors. If you took the time to open one, you might find deeper hopes, deeper disappointments, and more craziness than you could ever independently imagine. And never forget that these are hopes, fears, and tangles that are within your ability to affect. Finally, consider this paradox. You might not be the one in the limelight, but your choices are bigger than yourself. Thank you, and Sonder on.
Thank you, Christina. That was amazing. Sonder, love it.